Hello and welcome back to another piercing video. I currently have 52 piercings and in my life I've had over 70. And in the 4 or so years that I've been making piercing videos, I get asked a lot of questions. So in this week's video, I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you guys leave me in the comments. One of my most commonly asked questions is to do with piercing rejection. Any piercing can get rejected at any time for no reason. Some piercing might never heal and sometimes it might be fine for years and then get rejected for no reason. The short answer to the question that I get so often is you have to take out the piercing. I know how much that sucks. Believe me, I've had to do that before. But if a piercing gets rejected, you cannot save it. You have to take out the jewelry, it will never heal. And specifically for eyebrow piercings, if your piercing is rejecting or if it's starting to migrate out, you should take out the jewelry as soon as you notice it. I've had my eyebrows pierced many times and every single time they rejected. But I made the mistake of not taking out the jewelry thinking that it was going to heal and it never did. And now I have scars on my eyebrows from where the skin has it's sort of indented where the jewelry has pushed itself pretty much all the way out. And this gets me into migration. Migration and rejection are two very different things. A piercing rejection is very visible. It's going to be a really dark red or a purple color. There might be pus, it might be painful, and it generally doesn't look right. If you've got your belly button pierced, for instance, and you can see the jewelry through the skin, but everything around it looks normal, that's migration. It's completely normal. Surface piercings will migrate a lot, but I also have some cartilage piercings that have migrated since I've got them. My inner helix piercings are further to the front than they were when I first got them pierced. And also with tongue piercings, this is very normal. My first tongue piercing, it migrated out quite a lot. I eventually took it out because it was damaging my teeth. And another question I get asked a lot is, if your piercing gets rejected once and you get it done again, will it get rejected the second time? The short answer is yes. There is a slight chance that it won't get rejected, but there's a very high chance that it will. If you have a surface piercing and you notice that the skin is starting to get smaller, but everything around it looks normal, if it doesn't look infected, if it's not itchy and it's not red, that's only migrating, so you don't have to worry about it. A piercing that migrates is not going to come all the way out necessarily, but it might just want to push itself out slightly because it's a foreign object inside your body that your body is not quite sure about. And when it gets rejected, that's basically your body saying, I don't want this here, I want it gone. There's some surface piercings that are only temporary, such as a bridge piercing. If you have a bridge piercing and it has not rejected, you are extremely lucky. A bridge piercing usually will reject or eventually migrate all the way out. So if you have your bridge pierced and it's been done for more than 5 months and it is not healing, it's rejecting. And unfortunately you have to take it out. I got this comment and it sort of made me cringe a little bit. If you get a piercing that gets rejected and you take out the jewelry, do not under any circumstances get it re-pierced immediately. It is damaged tissue. You need to wait at least 6 months to get it re-pierced. And there is a very high possibility that if you get it done again, it will reject. There's only a few things that you can do to help prevent a piercing from getting rejected. Number one is do not get any piercing done with a gun. I have had so many piercings done with the gun. My right nostril piercing, that one was horrible. It took forever to heal and I still get problems with it. And I have a few cartilage piercings that have never healed properly. They'll be fine for a couple of months, but then they'll just get irritated for a little while. Or if I sleep on them weird, then they start to get irritated, so I have to change the jewelry. So any piercing done with a gun is a no-no. I've also had questions asked about keloids. If you get a piercing and you notice after you get it that there is raised skin or a little bit of a bump, that is a keloid. It's basically damaged tissue. They're really common with industrial piercings. I had my keloids for about 5 months or so until they went away. If you notice any sort of raised area around a piercing, don't pick at it and don't pop it. It is not a pimple. If you pick at it or pop it or try and cut it off, it's going to make it worse and it will probably cause an infection. But if you get a keloid, please don't panic. It's not going to damage your health. It will go away by itself. And this is where piercing guns are a no-no. If you have gotten a nose piercing, for instance, with a piercing gun, and you notice a raised area or a bump, that is a keloid, and that's because you got it done with a gun. The difference between getting a piercing done with a needle and getting it done with a gun is the way it's pierced. A piercing gun basically just pushes the stud straight through the area. The bar's too short, so it doesn't leave room for swelling, and because it pushes straight through, it can damage the tissue and it can just lead to a whole lot of problems. A piercing needle is hollow, so when it pushes through, it's taking away part of the cartilage or part of the skin, and it's making room for the jewelry. And usually when you get a piercing done with a needle, they'll put a really long bar in it, and this is to allow for swelling. I've also been asked questions about body jewelry. Somebody asked me about if you're pregnant and you have your belly button pierced. Yes, you can keep it in. You can get special bars that will go in, but I'm not 100% sure because I've never been in that situation. So you're best to be talking to a professional about this, not me, because I'm not a professional. And I've also been asked about body jewelry while you're going for surgery. If you have to go to surgery and they require you to take out your jewelry, you can replace it with bioplast, which is plastic jewelry. But this all depends on the hospital and the anesthetist. But this all depends on the person that is going to be doing the surgery. If they tell you that you have to take it out, unfortunately, you have to take it out. Thankfully, the last few surgeries that I've had, I haven't had to take them all out. I just had to replace the entire lot with plastic. Dear Lord, that was a pain in the ass. And the last commonly asked question I get is, did it hurt? Yes, all piercings hurt, but the questions that relate to how much it hurts, I can't answer that question. If I ask you how much it hurts to stub your toe against the wall, you're not going to be giving me the exact same answer that somebody else is going to be giving me. There's a few YouTubers that I watch that do videos about piercings, and one of them said that his belly button piercing really hurt. Mine didn't. And he said that his conch piercings didn't hurt. Mine did. So to compare any sort of pain to a piercing is irrelevant. If you want to get a piercing done and you're worried about the pain, suck it up. People think that I have a high pain tolerance because of how many piercings I have. I don't. I am a complete wimp. Yes, I get my piercings filmed, but the reaction that you see on my face is not the reaction that is going on in my head. It goddamn hurts. But some piercings hurt more than others. You might call me a complete wimp for thinking that my rook piercing hurt like hell, but I might call you a complete wimp for saying that your tragus piercing hurt like hell. So for any piercing, the pain is irrelevant because what might hurt for you might not hurt for me, and what might hurt for me might not hurt for you. If you have any questions or concerns, please write them in the comments, and if I can help, I'm more than happy to. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.